team that we are going to be breaking down are the LA Rams. I mean, the LA Rams made some big offseason moves. They acquired, quote, their quarterback of the future in Matthew Stafford, even though, Matthew Stafford's been in the year for what, 8 or 9 years. But Jared Goff is gone. Matthew Stafford is in. Before we get into the games, what kind of trade does that impact on the Rams? Does that make them instantly better, worse, or kind of just the same in your eyes?
So the more I look into this and the more I look at the stats and the way things are, essentially all they did was trade for an older version of Jared Goff.
Right.
They throw interceptions at the same rate. That's like, 2.3 whatever. And they are comparatively stat-wise for touchdowns and stuff, they're about the same. And, Stafford benefited from having Megatron for a lot of years. I mean, Goff has had solid receivers, if not excellent receivers, his whole time in LA. So I think he just got older. The only thing that I think that they got better with is the decision-making and the intuitiveness that Matthew Stafford's going to bring to that Rams offense versus what Goff had. I think Goff played with a lot of hesitation still.
Yeah, so I am a Matthew Stafford fan just because, I kind of figured he would finish his career in Detroit, maybe leading them to a playoff win, maybe 2 in the next 5 or 6 years. But now, being a Matthew Stafford fan, going toward the Rams here, and I want to emphasize that I'm a Matthew Stafford fan. I honestly think that the Rams took steps back by adding Matthew Stafford onto this team. Why? Because exactly what you said. Matthew Stafford is just an older version of Jared Goff, but now Matthew Stafford has to learn a brand new offense. With Jared Goff has been in there for 2 years. Like Coach Sean McVay was there running his offense. So I mean, it is going to be a learning curve, and their schedule is not very favorable for them for that learning curve right off the bat here. So jumping into the 2021 LA Rams schedule here, when you look at it, what game jumps off the page at you right off the bat?
Oh, their week 3 matchup, even though it's a home game, but the Buccaneers come to town, and I said it the other day, and I'll say it again today. As Ric Flair says, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. So that's a great early season matchup. It's a great early season test for your team to see where you're at. That Buccaneers game could be a major confidence boost, or it could be a deflation of your entire ego.
Right. Yeah. And then, like last night when we broke down the Detroit Lions here, that week 7 for the Detroit Lions popped out the page. But I want to iterate, it popped off the page for the Lions. This game does not pop off the page for the Rams. The game that popped off the page for me is that week 6 matchup when they play the New York Giants at Meadowlands. Why? Because I think the New York Giants are going to be a sleeper team. I think they are going to surprise a lot of people, and it would not surprise me if the New York Giants beat the LA Rams in New York. Because, Tori, you are a big advocate of the time zone thing, which I am too. When you travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, your body is still 4 hours before time, and this is a 1 o'clock kickoff. And so you were thinking LA time, 1 o'clock, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So you've got to get, on the field ready to play about 8 o'clock like in the morning. So that means you're getting up about 4:30 in the morning to get breakfast and stretched and tape and like all that stuff. So you are going to be tired. I mean, you are not going to turn it on till the second half, really, if you do turn it on at all that game. So that's the game that really popped off to the page at me right off the bat. And then the week 14 matchup as well, when the Rams go to Arizona. Like I think this is a Monday night game. So I mean it's a primetime game. All eyes are on you, and I think the winner of this game ultimately wins the division. So with that being said, I do have the Rams winning both of those games that I highlighted. So Tori, are there any other games that you besides that Bucs game that pop up at you?
Yeah, the Week 16 matchup against the Ravens, just because of that defense. I don't care. Year in and year out, the Ravens are always going to have a good defense. So every year, it's a great way to test that time of year to test your mettle. If you are in that playoff hunt or you're going to the playoffs, it is a great way to see where you are at offensively, because whatever it is that the Ravens put in their water, they always have a great defense.
Right. So yeah, the Ravens. Do you have the Ravens winning that game?
I do, and because of the West Coast, East Coast thing.
Yeah.
So I actually have, because I have them actually going 11-6 this year.
Yeah. So the Rams actually come to the East Coast here 1, 2, 3 times, which those are long travels. I mean, you travel to Indianapolis, you travel to New York, and you travel to Baltimore, and you also travel to Green Bay. So, I mean, definitely a lot of miles on them this season. So, looking at the roster here, looking at the wide receiver core here, they added Deshaun Jackson to this already lethal wide receiver core. Well, I like let me put air quotes around that lethal this, because Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, you would not put them probably in your top 10 receivers, but as a core, they are pretty good. So does Deshaun Jackson kind of make them that much better going into 2021?
I think he does. The guy's what, like 36, 37?
Yeah, he's old.
And he can still fly. The guy has wheels. The guy can still run like a 4.35 40. He can still run by almost any player on the field. So he's going to still stretch the field for them. And if they need him to go underneath, he's a tough receiver that will go underneath if he needs to. He is it's a veteran presence. The guy can still fly. It reminds me of Darryl Green from the Redskins when playing quarterback. The guy just never slowed down.
Right.
The guy was still burning people when he was like, I think he played till he was 38. And I think that's a lot of what Deshaun brings to that team. And he's gritty, he's tough. And like I said, he's not afraid to go make the tough catch. He's not afraid of anything when he gets on that football field. So I think, yes, it does. It makes them that much better because he's going to bring a different mentality to that receiver room.
So the Rams also lost their number one tight end to the New England Patriots in the offseason, basically promoting Tyler Higbee into that starting role there. Does that hurt them more than they realize going forward?
I don't think so. Just because the wide receivers are the star of that team. Tight ends these days are, I won't want to say a dime a dozen, but
they are either really good or really bad. There is no mediocre.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even back in the day, you played the fantasy football. It used to be like if you had to start tight ends in your league, sometimes you'd have to draft them early because there's 2 good tight ends in the entire league. And I mean, at least nowadays there's like 9 or 10 of them that you can probably get pretty good production out of. So, I mean, it's changed a little bit, but, I'll just drink because like Robert Tonyan for the Packers. Who the hell heard of Robert Tonyan before last year? And all of a sudden
Nobody.
He comes out and here I got caught 11 touchdowns.
100% correct.
So to me, it's almost a dime a dozen thing. You can make anybody look good in the right system.
Yeah. So speaking of looking good in the right system, this 3-4 defense that the Rams run, it has been dominant in recent past 2 years here. Aaron Donald has been arguably the MVP. Yes, he doesn't have any MVPs, but he has been the MVP of the league. And then they added some linebacker help as well throughout the draft. Is this Rams defense the best defense in the NFL going forward?
Yes. For at least the next 2 years, I would say yes. They are hands down the most. But you have you got Aaron Donald up front. You got not Jalen Ramsey. Who's their? I can't think of his name. They traded Jalen Ramsey. They got another kid that's just a stud corner.
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd was a great pickup. The Bears probably are kicking themselves on that one. Leonard Floyd was a great. Yes, that's who it is, Darius Williams. And so they've got elite talent at all 3 levels to lead each of those units. Yep. And I don't care who you are, you can have average players. If you get an elite player at all 3 levels, it's going to bring up the play of those other players next to them. So, it's the typical, that guy only looked good at receiver because XYZ was their quarterback. It can be the same thing with defensive players. When you play next to elite talent, it pushes you to play just that little bit extra more because you're seeing what they're doing.
Right. So we giving you guys some key games. We giving you guys some key players. What is their record for 2021, Tori?
I have them going 11-6 on the year. So I do believe that I have them going 4-2 in the division. I believe I have them beating the Niners twice.
Yeah.
Just because you're basically playing in your own backyard at that point. So I'm going 4-2 in the division. I have them losing to the Seahawks on the road. I have them losing to the Cardinals on the road. I have them losing to the Packers. I have them losing to the Ravens. I do believe I have them losing to the Giants too, just because of that whole heading to the East Coast thing.
Yeah.
And then I have them losing to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I actually had them going 10-7, 4-2 in the division. They're obviously sweeping the Arizona Cardinals this season, as we broke down earlier. It's just this division is so good from top to bottom that if there was an extra wild card team in there, all 4 teams from this division could make it into the playoffs and be
100%.
Yeah, so just because they are 10-7 and the Cardinals are 9-8, that's because they're battling each other in the division, and you're almost guaranteed 3 losses almost in that division. So with that being said, Tori, are the Rams your division champions?
They are not.
They are not. Okay, so we have
at 11-6. They are my third place team at 11-6.